niece.
Welcome, everybody. How is everybody at home?
Good.
Good.
All right, we'll give about a minute here for everybody to get in. All right, welcome everybody to TRG's Lunch and Learn. Today we're going to cover CMA, so the comparative market analysis, mainly using CRMLS's matrix and CloudCMA for it. Let me flip our screen around here real fast so we can see all of my screen. Let's see. Used to be able to do the full screen. Let's see if I can do it this way then. Gotta love when Zoom changes everything. I don't want to do just individual tabs, but it looks like that's what we're gonna have to do here. All right. So I think everybody is familiar with our TRG website. So you'll go to trgrealestate.com, click the login at the top right. Once you do that, you'll have a list of all the information that we give to you guys either on a weekly or monthly basis. But in here, you can download anything that's regarding TRG, so like a logo, anything kind of independent contractors agreement. So you guys sign with us, policy procedures, mentors, vendors. But today we're going to go over the CMA files. That's right here in the middle of the screen. So once that pulls up here, as we'll see on the top, you can actually download a full copy of what the matrix CMA looks like. And then below that, you have a copy of the CloudCMA as well. For any of them here, you can actually click on these individual pictures. I can make it a little bit bigger for you guys to see. But above each number, you can actually download each file. So all of these are in Microsoft Word documents, so you can open them up in Google Docs or any kind of free document system. I think it's Open Docs. There's some free sources out there, or Microsoft Word for it. Another one that's only different is our net sheet. That one is done in Excel, so you'll have to use Google Sheets or some sort of spreadsheet software. So if you're on a Mac, it would be Numbers, but you still have access to download that since it does the calculations for you automatically. All of these are able to be updated and changed, so you can do anything you want with it. We also have a CMA order here if you want to put it in the order that we present to our clients. There is no right or wrong way for it. CloudCMA kind of orders it for us, but this is how we do it for the CRMLS matrix. So you can see that there's about 50% of this is pulled right from matrix itself, and the rest are customizable pages. So everything on this list that ends with a PDF is a file that we brought into the CMA, as opposed to one that the CMA system created itself. So you can see it's about 50-50 on it. So again, all the ones with PDF are customizable. You can go through all of them. You can change them all. We recommend that you do change it. I mean, unless your name is Adam Agent, as we have the demos done, and then putting any kind of personal information, especially for your agent profile here at the bottom for it. So that's kind of an overview of just going through everything that's on the TRG site. If you haven't been here before, I recommend that that's the first thing that you log into today and kind of go through viewing all of that. Change over to our new screen here. So everybody's familiar with logging into CRMLS. I recommend this is the easiest way to go to get into any of the software that we use, and especially since we have to find a property that we want to search for also. So once we're logged in, we'll just click on Matrix. At the top, we're just going to go to our search, and it's really whatever one you use most often is here at the bottom. I use CMA just because I'm used to it. But if you click on to residential, you can see on the top right here, you have your detail, quick, listing. So I just click right on CMA. It takes us to our generic search option here. And this is about everything that we need to find out the value of a property. But before we do this, though, we have to find out what property we're going to go after. So that's going to be under our real list here at the top. So when you click on that, it'll actually open up into a new screen. And then you have everywhere for us to look here. So we're going to pick a property. Today's is only going to be on single family.
Danny.
And we'll do one
Danny.
over. Yep, go ahead.
Can I give you one?
Yeah. Your address?
8925. Wait 1 second. 8925 South Flower Street.
Okay.
Los
Should be all we need.
8925.
Oh, 8925?
Yes.
Okay. 89. So it's almost up there by Century, huh?
Yeah, it's close to Figueroa.
Okay. Well, this one shows that it's already active, so I'll have to pick one that's around that area.
Okay.
To give you an idea. So let me pull that up into Google Maps so you guys can see. So we pull it up here. We'll kind of just go down the street. So it's on a busy street, so we'll give it the same breakdown here. Let's go to the next street here. So this was on the corner. Let's do it by even a busier street. This looks like it's just single. So this should give us kind of the same idea for it. Let me go back to our real list and get one in here. So this one shouldn't be listed. Let's see. All right, perfect. And it sold not too long ago, so you guys can see. So this one's on that same corner. I kind of give you an aerial of it. his was up on 189th, so it's up here. And this one's down here, so it's kind of the same busy street, same general area. It's going to be the same MLS area, and it also is going to have this freeway noise. We just don't know what the inside or the outside looks like. By looking at this one, so you guys can kind of see, looks like it's well taken care of. If we look at the bottom here, this is the key thing for you guys to always look at. It's very small here at the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see it on it, but this picture was captured by the Google Earth or Google on February 2019. So this is okay for us to view for it. But anytime we do a CMA, I always recommend going and taking a photo of the property currently, because if they change this color and painted it gray or blue, and you're putting a picture in the CMA when it's bright pink, you know, they're gonna know that it's an older photo and that you actually didn't go to the property for it. Let me go back to our real list here. So we have, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's about 1,500 square feet, and the lot's 4,000 for it. And it's actually a new build. It's like 2001. So they must have tore it down or, you know, restructured it. And we'll look at the details down below. You can see it's owned by, looks like 2 brothers here, George and Jesus. And they have that same mailing address, which is good. So you want to make sure that you're talking to them and they're the ones signing that listing agreement. It is listed as a single family for it. The tax shows it as 1172, and the MLS shows it as 1525. So obviously that's what was changed. It may have been before or after, but this current MLS one is usually done from the appraisal from the previous purchase. And if we scroll back to the top here, you can see it was sold in 2013, so 12 years or so after it was built. And then going down to the bottom, just like the title reports give us information, you can see what the seller's score is, and then they also give us a estimated value on it. So this one has it listed at 416, the low on it being 354, and the high being 478. And you can see that that high is getting higher and higher as inventory is getting smaller and smaller. I would predict that this was always usually what most people would list their property for, since it's been like that historically for the last 3 to 4 years. But right now, because of 2020 and COVID and really the lack of inventory, it possibly may even sell for more than that. Before I wasn't as optimistic on that, but we'll do the comps and see how many actual active properties there are for it. You also have on here the last time it was sold, so that's the 2013 date. You also have that agent's name for it, so that's usually your competition if they're still farming any kind of past sales. So if they're interviewing more than one agent, let's say like Cornell, for example, they're probably interviewing Richard as well to list this property. And then if you get down to the bottom here, you can also see their mortgage history on it. So it looks like the previous people bought it for almost nothing back in 2007. That looks like either to refinance it or to change. They had 200,000, and then when they first bought this one for, what was it, last sale was for 249. They put, looks like about $30,000 down and got a loan for 216,000 for it. Going back, there's been no changes, just some recorded deeds, and then you got a nice little aerial for the size of the parcel, and then also we can see the location here at the bottom. So I would always recommend printing this one out for it, and that way you guys have a copy. So you can do that by just doing print, hit quick, and it'll actually create a PDF for us to reference to the entire time. So all that information I had there before is now here. So either keeping this in a printed file or digitally on your computer, that way you can always reference it for it. So now we have the details to try and find out what this property is worth. So it's going to be in the Los Angeles area. And let me copy the address so we can have it. And we're going to go into, we want to do coming soon, active on contract, pending, and closed. So closed goes back 180 days. So we're just going to leave that as a default right now. The property is a single family home. So we're going to click that. We're not going to do condos or anything else for it. Normally when I don't know the property on it, pull up our property details here, I just do it by zip code. That's a very easy thing for us to remember. So it's 90003. So I'm going to do 9003. And you can already see at the bottom here, we have lots of matches still. Our living area is the total square footage of the building. So we had it at just over 1,500, almost 1,600. So I'm going to bracket it between about 1,350 to maybe 1,900 and see what that shows here for it. And we're still calculating here at the bottom. Let's see. Usually it's faster. Maybe it's slow today, but we'll click on results. See what shows up here. All right, so we got 19. That's a good start for it. Brackets it down. We're also going to go back to our map here, and you can see that it is kind of listing it on that. Looks like the right side, so the east side of the 110. Our property is on the west side, so we may want to figure out what the difference is on those two prices. And then ours is also a little bit higher. It's closer to Century. So we're more in this window here. On the top, right next to the bullseye, just to the right of the jump to address, we can also type in the address of the property and it'll drop a pin to make it easier for you guys to reference. But on the bullseye here, this will recenter it around anything that you marked on there. So whether it's the pin or a property that you're targeting. To the left of that, you have the layers tab. So when you click on the layers tab, right now it's just those parcels. So that's all the gray boxes on the screen. But really what we want to know is MLS areas. Since here, at least in the South Bay, they're usually very well defined. And you can see now when I drop that red line, you can see that we're actually on the border of two MLS areas. We have the Metro Southwest, which is C336, and we have Metropolitan South, which is the C37. So those are both areas that we need. So on this point, I would recommend picking border streets for it. So it looks like on here, we have Avalon, it's a major street, and we have Vermont. Oh, let's screw in a little more. That's getting a little crazy, and we're just going to draw a polygon to make it a little bit easier, or we can do a box for you guys. So I'm going to go from Manchester on Vermont down to about 108th, since that's a big street that I see here, and then all the way over to Avalon. So it's going to bracket that area down a little bit more for me. I need to go back now to my criteria and remove the postal code, and we should see a couple more pop on. If I go back to the map, you can see now we have some on the west side of the 110 freeway, as well as the east side. So our property, you can see there's just the thumbnail view here is there's one for 405, a 3-bedroom, one for 6010 that's sold. We have one active that's on the west side, so 585. That's a 5-bedroom, 3-bath. So that's a lot bigger than ours. We'll look at the square footage when we go through it. We got an active on, map's getting crazy, on the right side for 530. So you can already see our competition is over 500,000 now for the actives. We have a pending at 335, and we have a pending at 450. Another one at 510. So these are all very comparable. They're going to have the same freeway noise where they're at. They're both on busy streets, Broadway, Flower. The ones that are kind of in the middle streets here might have a little less noise, but you can kind of see the prices on an overview. So if I click on results, this gives you a little bit more detail now, so you can see on the bedrooms and baths. When we go back to our property sheet here, ours was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it was 1,500 square feet. So we have a 3-bedroom, a couple of 5s that are here, a 4. So really, to me, I wouldn't compare these to a 5-bedroom. Even though the square footage is about the same, there's going to be something funky about those properties. So I may want to limit how many bedrooms I'm going to show. So on the bedrooms here, you can do, we'll do 4- just to get rid of those 5 bedrooms, since they're going to kind of skew either rental income possibilities or more bedrooms. Go back to our results. We're now down to 1 active. That meets our criteria. It's a 3 bedrooms, so it has 1 extra bath, but it is smaller. And it's also a good comp because it's built 1994, where ours is 2001. We have another new construction that's pending here. Was on the market for 42 days, and it's a little bit bigger. And it's a 4-bedroom, 3 bath. So that makes sense. Extra bedroom, extra bath. And that one's pending under 510. So ours may not be worth as much as 510 for it. Now if we're looking at the solds, you can see that we have from 405 to 610 as the high for it. All of these sold relatively fast, it looks like. This one was a probate, so that's the only thing that was different on that one, and that took just under 100 days. All the standards look like they're in that 30 days. The cumulative days here means that it was either listed with a different agent or the same agent, and they dropped it. And so that kind of shows you the history, but realistically, when it was marketed correctly, it only took 33 days for it. Oh, we have one at 0 days. So that must have been put in just for comp reasons only. And then we can kind of see the square footage breakdown where it kind of averages around that. It's like 290 to 315 range. And we got a couple outliers that might be really nice on the inside. So with all of this, we're going to click on all of them that we've selected. If you guys wanted to change any of these or remove them rather than doing the criteria, you guys can also click on narrow here, and you can remove ones that are unchecked. So if we wanted to remove, let's say, the active, I could click narrow, and it'll remove it back. If I go back to the original results, it'll show it back as before. The actions at the bottom from here, all you have to do is click the magic button here that's 4 over that says CMA. We're going to do pages, and you can see at the top right here it says selected pages. I have all these set as a default. So that was that list. If we go back to our CMA files, whatever you pull into here, you just click set as default, and it lists all of these for us. So rather than doing all of these for you guys to see, I'll do both for you. So we'll click finish, so you guys can see the whole CMA for it. And under the pages here, I'm going to do just details so you guys can kind of give me an estimated value. I can get back here. So by looking at those comps, what does everybody think that our value is? Or how about you, Cornell? What would you list this one for? Or what are you planning on listing the one that was there before? Is that one you're listing or a different listing?
Different listing.
Okay.
Yeah, that was listed at 600,000.
Okay.
But I'm expecting a counter on it, and I know the counter is going to be based on that price. So I was just trying to look at some previous comps to see, where should we be.
Yeah, so by looking at the stats here, you can see there's only one new listing. So this one just came on the market, this one on Main. So that was 2 days ago. And then if we look down here, there's only been one sale this year, which is the one on 97th Street, which is also, I think, right on like the corner also. And that one's listed for 440. So you can obviously see that there's an inventory crunch here that's making these prices go a lot higher than they should, as the pricing looks like it's kind of set about the same. So on the average prices, we have 487. Square footage, we have 309 for stuff sold. And the pending one is under, which makes sense why those two are under contract right now. So my guess is they're going to sell for more. And then you have our one that's just active, which I'm sure if you call that agent right now, he's probably got 10 offers or at least 20 showings. So did you put an offer on this one yet, Cornell?
I did. I at his asking price. And so when I talked to him this morning, he says he'll send out a counter. So that's why I wanted to see just get a feel for what the properties around sold for. But as you can tell in this market, everything is just ridiculously high right now.
Yep. So we look at the main one just to give us kind of a breakdown. Let's see if I can go back to our real list so you guys can see. So that one's listed at 530 right now, only 2 days on the market. And I'm going to see if our estimated value on this one has changed. So this one has it as 495 to 550 or almost 560. When we go to our property detail for the CMA that we're doing, we have, did I miss it? Yeah, so it's a lot lower. So I'm guessing that skewed because of it being actually listed. So this estimated value, I think, is going to be off a little bit compared to other properties that we're going to pull up. So to me, if I was the listing agent to try and go through and get, where's our report here? So this is the full CMA. Let's just list here. Best bet for this one is it's gonna sell for over 500,000 just based on the comps, just because there's nothing for sale and there's gonna be buyers in that area. My suggestion would be to list it for 499. You can hear different theories. I was just talking yesterday with people up in the San Francisco area. They all tend to list every property at these 2 magic numbers, and usually it's way under list. And I was trying to have them explain it to me why they did it this way, but every property that's either 1.1, 1.2, 1.4, they pick a magic number like 998,000. So if you go into the MLS right now in San Francisco area, and there's any active properties, which there's only like 3 or 4, you're going to see them all listed at that 998,000. Regardless of what their price is, they just pick that and they consider that the magic number for it and list the property. It's always better to list it for less than what the actual value is, so you get competition. But correct, yep, use it as an option. In the MLS, you guys can also use that. You can't list it for $1 like the Price is Right rules. I think the lowest price you can list a property for is 10,000 last time I checked. So you can sell anything you want by putting it on there and have anybody submit, their highest offer. Does everybody kind of agree that this is obviously going to sell for more than that 525, 530 range if we listed it at the 499?
Oh yeah.
So on yours, Cornell, let me go back to yours on Flower. So that one wasn't in our criteria, I don't think, right?
Right.
Let me pull it up here so we can actually see what it looks like on the outside. So here's our Flower property. So this one's actually a little bit nicer. It's actually it's set back from the corner street here. It's got parking, looks like, and nice little grass area to play on, it looks like. Oh, did I jump too far? Well, way down the street. Well, here's our overview. Wait, let me pull this one up again. So it's got a fence all the way around. This is also, stuccoed. It's good condition. New roof, looks like. Obviously newer condition. It's got entryway, looks like, for the house to. I have to look up this one to see. Do you know, Cornell, that if this is this 2 lots, or is it just a weird layout?
Yeah, it's a weird layout.
Yeah, okay, it looks like the house may have been over here, and they tore it down and then built the new one to the right here on the north side.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got nice landscaping done, concrete, stuck on the outside. And this one was listed for, how much was it?
600.
And you put in an offer at 600?
At 600.
Yeah, I mean, if it's the only one for sale, it's bigger. My guess is it's probably going to be that $20,000 to $30,000 more, depending on how much competition there is.
Right.
Which is going to be difficult when it comes to the appraisal. I mean, especially this neighborhood. I mean, even though there is a demand, there isn't going to be very many comps. And the worst part about like this area right here is you got the freeway. I mean, you can literally throw a rock to. So you're going to have freeway noise. I mean, what's interesting about properties that are in the freeway areas or lower income neighborhoods, they're not going to appreciate as much as like beach properties. So when they start really going up in value, you're going to have to start putting more money down. Obviously, if the inventory stays like this, the values are going to sustain and they're going to be appraisals of comps out there. But even this one's selling for this high, I'd have to redo our numbers for the square footage to bump it up a little bit. But selling for 600,000 is quite a lot when our highest sale was at 610. So we have to look up what that one was, and then most of them are all in that lower mid fours to low 500s. So I mean, you're looking at almost $500 per square foot when it sells for 600,000, which is about, I think, what a Redondo Beach home in a normal market would sell for. And this is up off of 189th Street and the 110 freeway. So it's a pretty crazy market, that's for sure. So everybody's familiar with clicking on that CMA button and going through and then viewing it all. So here is the full report. So if you didn't customize it, do anything with it, you're automatically going to have your cover page. It's going to print your name, what date it's prepared for, license information, and then anything that you have in CRMLS. So your pictures that get syndicated to Zillow, all that's here. You'll have to put in that manual photo. So if I go back to it, you can see under the subject here, the third tab, you can autofill everything in from the tax information or just add it in. Scrolling down now on this, we have our explanation. So this is just a generic CMA form. We have our analysis that we were just going over. The map feature, which is really nice to have. That way they can see where all the properties are. It doesn't throw a pin down where the actual listing is, so you may want to mark that yourself or use our custom page to do that. It has a minimum and maximum, so this is what we actually searched in the MLS, so that way you can tell your client what you actually did when you search for it. So you can see that properties age from 131 years old, so we got some turn of the century properties plus a lot that were built in the early 2000s. Scrolling down, we always pick the 3 up, 3 down, depending on the description. You'll see it sometimes there's more than 3 per page, which is nice, and that kind of limits it down to about 3 or 4 pages whenever you have any comps. And this is keeping that report at the top. You guys can see here, we're on page 6 of 21. We don't want to make this a novel where it's 50 to 100 pages. We want to keep it simple for them to go through and view all of the listings, as well as get the same information that we know. That way we can educate the client. Days on market is a good way to show them how long stuff sells. As we showed you on that one, we had one that was really high and then one that was about twice the normal length, and that's because it was a probate. So we have to explain that to them. That's going to take a little bit longer to sell. Here's our list price versus what it sold for. You can see that there's lots of this pink that's a lot higher than the blue. And then you have a lot of your generic fill-in pages that you guys can use to go over any questions they have about timings, showing, how to price a property, setting the price, where buyers come from. So they got some stats here from the National Association of Realtors, how to do a showing. Obviously, this one you're going to have to edit and tell them during the coronavirus pandemic, everything's a little bit different. What it takes to show. I love this page. This is where the commission goes. This is an easy way for you to tell your client how it's split. So obviously, each broker is going to get split, and then each agent is going to get split for it. So you can tell them that full 6%, 5%, 10%, whatever you list that property for, isn't all going to Cornell for it. Benefits of using a realtor. I like this page too. So I pulled this one out and actually use this one in my CloudCMA. And then they also add a guarantee. So you guys can use this one or our custom page for it as well. So we're going to go back now and just trying to show you guys how to do this in CloudCMA. So the same thing, we're going to do the same search in Matrix like we did before. We go back a couple pages. So now we're back to the properties that we narrowed down the first time around. At the very end of this blue bar, the second from the end, you got CloudCMA. You'll have to click on that. It's going to open up the cloudcma.com website. If you haven't set up any profile information, let me pull this one up so you guys can see. But you'll have to add in all this information on here as well. So you can add your picture to it, that'll get printed. Any kind of logo, so the company logo you can add in, your email address, and so all get put onto here. Your MLS credentials, this usually gets set up the first time when you log in. That way you can link back and forth. So you can see I just click right on CloudCMA. It takes me right into the page for it. Yep, and just a one-time setup for it. On the side here, you have your custom pages. So you can add lots of custom pages, and I'll go over how to do one or two of those since we have to edit a few in my listing here. But really, that's it for this page. Once we're into the CMA, I don't know if it actually created it, but I'll try it again. So it's automatically going to name the property. So we need to get the address for it. I can pull that one. Property detail, here we go. This is the one that we were doing on 92nd Street. So I'm just going to copy that address. And I'm going to name it here since we don't have the owner's name for it. And I also put it in the private notes. That way it's there as well. So we're going to need the property address. Let's see, it was about 1,500 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, residential. And then we're going to do Jesus and George for the client. That way we can make it a little bit easier. Oops. All right, so those are all set. We already did our actual MLS search here. So this pulled all of the MLS listings from Matrix into CloudCMA. You could also have a couple options here to actually do a proximity kind of search where it'll take 10 listings and it'll go back a certain amount of areas. And I'll show you guys how to do even an automated CMA where you can kind of just do it right on the fly, right from your phone as well. So we're going to click Fetch Listings. It's going to lay them all down for us here. So we have 1 active, 2 pending, 7 sold. It's the same that we had before. We can sort these however we want. We can estimate our own price if you want. So if we're going back to our sheet here at the top, let's say we're going to list this one at 530,000 for it. We can actually click on our net sheet here, and you guys can add in all that information from our Excel file that we do. This is still manual. If you wanted to pull in just a PDF, you can do that as well. This is a little bit more advanced, but this makes this page a lot cleaner. So if we wanted to do our 5% commission, we put that one on here. And we'll just list it at 25,000 just to keep it easy. So you guys can see, and we'll do save. We'll add in, let's say, a termite. And let's say it's estimated at 5,000 for it. We're going to do home warranty. And we'll do that one at 550. And then let's do the county transfer tax. And it's listed at the $1.10 per one, so that's about $500 and let's say $90 for it. And then if they actually had a loan on it, this is an easy way for you to put in there as well. Let's say they had a loan for $360,000. So this one's saved here. And then we go down, we'll hit customize report. I'm gonna leave the generic just so you guys can see it here. And this is kind of how I have everything set up with our letter of value as the first. We have the online evaluation, the seller's net sheet, which we just did right there, and a map of all the listings, and how CMA is converted. These are all kind of the pages I've customized for it all. So you guys can see, I'm just gonna hit publish so it shows it up here to customize it all. Under my custom pages, I have that letter of value. So that's the only one that I have to update manually. So I'm gonna go in here and pull up this value so you can see it has a kind of some custom codes that I can go through with anybody to kind of set their own one up. But I pushed the last property I did was for 665. So let's say this one is for 530. So we're gonna change this one here on it to 530,000. So here's our 530. And I'm gonna click save. I'm gonna have to regenerate my page. That way it'll show correctly for you guys to see. Under our CMA here. Top. Give a second for it to load. So I'm gonna do edit again. That way we can pull in that new page. Update listings. This is gonna pull in all those custom pages that I had before. So everything's here at the bottom. Click publish report, and it takes about 5 to 10 seconds for that to show up. So once that one shows up, you'll see it'll populate here on that first box. So if we click view PDF, what's nice about this is it's all customized just for us. And I can show you guys how to do this on our cover sheet. So it's got the subject property. So this is that address that I put in the comments. It's got the date as well. You know, it's all done so it's nice and clear. I have what's the home worth, letter of value. You can see this one already customized it and changed it right to show what that value was. Next page on it is our online evaluation. What's great about this is everything that's in this PDF is hyperlinked. So if you see like a Zestimate, which is the Zillow property value, they can click right onto that, and it's going to take you right to the Zillow website and show you that home value for it. So this is an interactive PDF. Oh, let me go back. Did I lose it? Yeah. Interactive PDF, and we go down to the net sheet. So this is the one that I just did on the fly for you guys. You can obviously go more in depth, or you can use that full Excel spreadsheet to put in more prices and value to it. And I also recommend getting one from our escrow company, kind of show you the title fees and all that. That way you don't have to do any of the math yourself. Here's the map of all the listings. Here's our subject at the top. Scroll down, it does actually one property per page. And if it has photos, it'll go on to the next page, but I'm keeping it simple, just the one. And this is limiting it down to only 26 pages, you know, rather than 50 pages total. So all these are all done generically by CloudCMA. As I go down to the bottom of these, see we have our how CMAs can vary. This is our generic information that we have on anything, whether it's Matrix or CloudCMA or any kind of CMA program will have these pre-formed for you. Ratings, it's really nice that you guys can link these right from either Zillow, the Rate My Agent. They're all there for anybody that's actually done them on your profile. Your team, which is all in the customizable pages. This is just a generic about our company. You guys can rewrite whatever you want. This one, I think, came with the CMA. All I did was pop in the photo for it. That was that TRG logo on my profile page. Commissions, they actually added this one in too. It's a little bit more in depth than just having the picture of the 4 pieces of the pie. Commission schedule, this you can actually throw in and edit yourself as well. And then you also have this page I customized. So this one I stole from the Matrix CMA since CloudCMA didn't have it. And I thought it was really nice to have the reasons why you use a realtor versus just a real estate agent. And then your resume that you can edit and change as well. And then this one's generically made also by CloudCMA with that profile information. So anything you put on here as well. And they also give you a nice little QR code for people to scan to download it if you gave them a printed copy to get a digital copy. What's also nice about CloudCMA is back on our CMA page here, as you also have this view live. So it used to be just a PowerPoint slide, but if anybody's into doing any interactive presentations or even now via Zoom, this would be the great way to actually have that kind of conversation with the client for the listing. As you click on it, it creates a generic website for them to navigate through. You can send this to them so they can click on it. It's got the agent resume. So this takes you right to that page. I hit home here. Those are company. So these are all the pages that the program created for us. What is the CMA? That's that one generic page. We go back to home. We have our comps. What's nice about having the comps here is they can click on each one individually, go through the photos, just like they're kind of going through the MLS, and everything on here is up to date for it. So they can scroll through all of those. On the right-hand side here, we can go through the average pricing. So these are all the sheets that you normally see in that CMA. But just now they're all nicely set up. You have your testimonials, you have everything that's here for them to go through individually rather than having to have a PDF. So it's more of a website version than a PowerPoint like it was in the past. It looks like you can also even send this through via Zoom right inside this as well. So you got some new features that you guys can use out there. So customizing pages. Let me go back to our CMA here. Everybody's familiar with the profile icon. So clicking on your picture, yourself. You have custom pages. All these, you click add. So we'll do just TRG profile. Click add, and you guys can really customize and paste anything. I recommend doing this in some sort of Microsoft Word before, or going to our TRG site, edit that, and then just copy and paste it right into here. And that makes it real easy for the formatting to be correct for it. You can view all the ones that we've done before. So here's our CMA. Let's see, here's our profile. This is the one that I made just for that front page. I'm going to show you some of the shortcut keys. If I click on the edit for it, you can see that the title is pulled right from the name. So whatever the client's name is. This is a nice little short code to put today's date for it. And then since there isn't a address type, I use that notes section in the profile. This is a little bit more advanced, but I can walk you through how to set that up. But all of this is just done in Microsoft Word, pasted in, and then I edited the sections. That way each report I generate has those customized for it. I think that covers just about everything in here for pulling through it all. One of the other things I wanted to show you guys is under our support center here. So to make it a little bit easier, let's see, CMA at cloudcma.com. I really like this feature of being able to do this on the fly. And really it's emailing anything to CMA at cloudcma.com. So obviously I had to send it from my Danny at dannyfredericks.com email, since that's the account that I use to set this up. In the subject line, all I have to do is put the address of the property. Same thing in the body of the email. And by sending that email in about 5 minutes or so, it'll go back and create a CMA for me that'll populate in here automatically. And I can either just send that to the client, I can just preview it, or I can come back and edit it. So it'll actually start the process for you, and you can actually do the full search via CloudCMA. That's kind of like the quick down and dirty option to kind of find out what's available in that area, or logging into the MLS to do a search. So there's lots of options for you guys to keep everything fast. But I really thought that was a neat issue or neat feature of anything that's on the go, because everybody has a smartphone now, and they're able to pick up your email, send them that property address, and find out at least a generic value of it. And you can actually edit it right on your phone, send it to them in less than 10 minutes, rather than going through a full 30-minute edit of that CMA. So there's no excuse for us not to do a CMA of some sorts for it. So does anybody have any questions? So you're gonna go start farming that neighborhood, Cornell?
Not that particular neighborhood, but
Hey,
just
there's only one property active.
yeah. But
Do they pick that neighborhood or just the property size that they wanted?
Saturday,
Were they just
Say
looking
again.
at it because of the property size and bedrooms and baths, or do they want to live in that
yeah, just they
geographical area?
wanted, yeah, they wanted to live in that particular area, and
Okay.
so we just took a look at it, and I just wanted to get a feel for what the numbers were, what I would pay for it. But again, with this market, it's so much competition. And that property was newly built. It was like torn down and rebuilt like in 2006. So it's pretty big in the inside. I think it was like a little over 1,900 square feet. But for everything that we've been looking at right now, this in that particular area, this is probably the best thing that's over there.
Yeah, so I mean, with doing CMAs now, it's real easy. When there's nothing for sale, you can just pick a number, and you'll find out real fast within the first day on the market whether you're high or low.
Yeah.
And you can always adjust because there's no competition.
Mhm.
All right, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to call here at the office or email me. I can walk you through how to do some customized features of CloudCMA as well as Matrix, but everything's there on the TRG website. So navigate that first, get CloudCMA set up, and from there, we can help you out. So thanks
Awesome.
everybody for joining us.
All right, thanks, Danny.